Well, our top story now in the latest on the Kerala boat tragedy. At least 22 people, including women and children, died when a boat with dozens of passengers aboard overturned and sank. This was near the Tuvalthiram beach in the Tanur area of Malappuram district of Kerala on Sunday night.
Fire and police units, officials from revenue and health departments and locals from Tanur and Tirur areas of the district were involved in the rescue operation. According to the police, the incident occurred at around 7 p.m. and those who were taken out were admitted to nearby government and private hospitals. Initial reports suggest that the boat was crowded and those who were aboard, those who were on board were not wearing life jackets.
Well, there you can see this morning as well the search operations continuing. The Prime Minister has condoled the loss of lives. He announced a compensation of 2 lakh each to the family of the victims. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan as well, and he has directed the Malappuram district collector to carry out coordinated emergency rescue operations.
हमें जैसा सूचना मिली कि 30 लोग एक नाव पलटने के कारण डूब गए हैं, तो हम यहाँ पर रात को 1:30 बजे आकर पहुँचे और पहुँचते हमने हमारा जो है सर्चिंग का ऑपरेशन शुरू किया। हमारे पहुँचने से पहले यहाँ पर लगभग 20 जो है लोगों को निकाला गया है, डेड बॉडीज, और अभी जो हमारा ऑपरेशन जो है चालू है। हमारे डीप डाइवर्स और हमारी रेस्क्यू टीम अभी लगातार पानी में सर्चिंग कर रही है।
കാഷ്വാലിറ്റി പ്രധാനമായിട്ടും 21 പേര് കാഷ്വാലിറ്റി ആയിട്ടുണ്ടെന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് നമുക്ക് നിലവിൽ ഇവിടെ ഇന്ന് ലഭിക്കുന്ന ഒരു വിവരം. അതുകൂടാതെ നമുക്ക് 9 പേര് തന്നെ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ അഡ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെന്നും പോലീസിൽ നിന്ന് ഭാഗത്ത് നമുക്ക് അറിയാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു. 5 പേര് ഇവിടെ തന്നെ രക്ഷപ്പെട്ട 5 യുവാക്കൾ ഇവിടെ തന്നെ സമീപപ്രദേശത്ത് തന്നെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
All right, so very, very tragic there, this boat overturning. It was the summer holidays or the holiday period for these young children, and they were out for a joyride with their families, and many of the children are said to have gotten stuck under the boat.
That's right, and larger questions are also, of course, being raised on the security provisions being made, given the fact that they were not wearing life jackets, and there were women and children, of course, also among those who have died. So an extremely tragic incident there. And what we're also being told is that there was no fitness certificate as far as this particular boat is concerned. So those larger questions remain still unanswered.
You can see divers as well, and every time there's an accident like this, these sort of questions are raised, and we find out about various security measures not being taken, overcrowding. This was one of those 2-story boats. It seems that there were some on the lower part and others passengers on the upper part of the boat, and it capsized with many of them getting stuck. And also Vedant, that usually in these boats, especially abroad, you're told various things before the journey. You're told what your response should be, SOPs, etc. But it seems in this case, it was just all of them were stuffed into this boat and taken for this ride in the water, and no sort of security provisions were taken. No information was also shared with the passengers, is what the initial report seemed to suggest.
That's right, and rescue operations are underway. Of course, paramilitary forces and district administration are conducting rescue operations. Let's in fact go across to Uma for further details in terms of what the initial reports at least seem to suggest.
Much continuing. It's not just the NDRF but also the Coast Guard and Navy which have got into the act. And yes, this accident happened late in the evening yesterday. In fact, we are told that it is in fact the last trip that was being undertaken by the recreational boat. This was a tourist boat. It is a double-decker boat. It is called Atlantic. And what we understand is that there were far more number of people on the boat than what should have been allowed according to safety norms, because all the rescuers have also reported that none of those people whose bodies they have retrieved or who they have saved were wearing a life jacket, which means no one on the boat was wearing a life jacket. This place is a place called Tuvalthiram, from where the boat had gone on its last trip, and it was on the return that the boat in fact capsized. And what made operations or rescue operations extremely difficult is that this was at least about 500 meters into the waters. Second, just a little distance away, the waters in fact joined the sea. Third, the bottom of this place, I mean, it's quite deep and it is muddy, is what we are told. And therefore, once the boat overturned, there were people on both the deckers, and in fact, we are told there were families that were there on the lower deck of the boat, and there were children as well, and it became extremely impossible for them, in fact, to get out of the boat itself. Right now, reports suggesting that the boat did not have a fitness certificate, whether there was a license at all to operate, that is also coming under question. And, there was in fact an expert who had just about a month ago spoken about the safety measures being taken in boats like these and said that there is a disaster waiting to happen, and this is something that needs to be paid attention to, because he was mentioning about the fact that all safety norms, whether in terms of numbers, whether in terms of the safety jackets, or in terms of even instructions about what to do if something goes wrong on the boat, nothing of the sort, no protocols are being followed, and therefore he had said that something like this is likely. What I must point out is, yes, the President and the Prime Minister have expressed pain over the tragedy. There's a state mourning that's been declared in Kerala. Ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees announced to the families of the victims. We expect that the Chief Minister also is likely to be coming in here. What we also understand is that this is perhaps one of the biggest tragedies that has happened in Kerala in recent years. A similar tragedy that happened in 2009 claimed about 45 lives at that time.
All right, news now from Manipur, and first what's happening in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will be hearing a batch of pleas on the Manipur situation, including the one by a ruling BJP MLA challenging the High Court order on issue of scheduled tribe status to the Meitei community, and a PIL by a tribal outfit for an SIT probe into the violence that rocked the northeastern state, which led to the deaths of dozens of people.
That's right, and the situation on the ground, violence is being brought under control. Additional forces were rushed there to the northeastern state, and now we report on the fallout of the violence, with thousands of families displaced, and they're now trying to find some peace in relief camps. Take a look at this ground report by Ratnadeep Chaudhary.
We are outside the iconic Ima Kaithal, or the Ima market, one of Asia's biggest all-women market, and this market was also closed for a couple of days because of the curfew. But today, in the morning hours, in several places in Manipur, particularly in Imphal and Churachandpur, relaxation in curfew has been given so that people can go and buy essentials and medicines, food items. In fact, this relaxation in curfew, this partial relaxation has been given for only a couple of hours, and that too in different timings in different places. Here we are outside Ima market, and you can see people have come out to buy essentials, but there is huge presence of security forces, central security forces guarding the area. People are really, trying to buy essentials very quickly because after many days they have got this opportunity to actually buy essentials for them. This situation, the turmoil that Manipur has witnessed, has affected people not only physically with loss of life, many people injured, but also economically and emotionally. We'll try to go and speak with some of the people there. You can see massive security presence here. A lot of people have come out. We can try to talk to some of them. Sir, 1 minute. बहुत दिन के बाद थोड़ा रिलैक्सेशन मिला है कर्फ्यू में, तो how people are looking at it, what are the essential things you are trying to buy now?
Okay, I'm already buy some vegetables, and my wife is vending, sitting inside the...
So your wife is one of the vendors in Ima market. So
he is selling kabok.
So how has her business got affected?
It is very much affected. 2-3 days we cannot earn. We cannot receive any money from the public.
So for the common people, the kind of violence which has happened in Imphal or in Churachandpur, how do you see it? What do you want now?
I want to peace and harmony among the communities. It is okay now.
So there you are, this gentleman clearly perhaps trying to say what many people, many common people in Imphal and even in places like Churachandpur and other areas of Manipur would like to say, that They want peace. They want their normal life to get restored so that they can carry forward with their normal life, so that, you know, there is a sense of peace, which is what they're looking for. The central government and the state government has brought in a lot of central forces, and the Indian Army was called in. In fact, the Indian Army is still conducting flag march, area domination in areas which are vulnerable, and trying to bring people out who are holed up. The main concern remains that people from the valley, particularly from the Meitei community, many of them are holed up in Churachandpur. In the similar way, many of the Kuki people, the people from Kuki community, are also holed up here in Imphal. So from both communities, people would want their near and dear one to reach home, and perhaps that is one area where the government will have to look into how people can safely reach their homes from the vulnerable areas.
All right, so Ratnadeep getting us the ground situation there, and as we've been reporting, over 23,000 people are currently in the relief camps in many of the worst affected districts.
That's right. So take a look at another ground report by Ratnadeep Chaudhary on how people are actually coping up after the violence.
Even as curfew continues in parts of Manipur, situation has improved in the past 24 hours, with number of incidences actually coming down. In fact, we are at a relief camp in Bishnupur district, which marks the boundary with Churachandpur district. Churachandpur district has been the epicenter of the turmoil. In fact, this morning relaxation in curfew was given in Churachandpur and Bishnupur. Here you can see hundreds of people who have actually fled from Churachandpur district, or who have been evacuated from there, people who have lost their properties, their houses have been burned. They are here and they're waiting for their food, for their lunch in this relief camp. In fact, this has been very difficult situation for these people, because the bordering areas between the valley region and the hill region have been the areas where most of the incidents have taken place, with a lot of violence. You can see here there are a lot of women here. The women have a separate queue, the men have a separate queue for the lunch. We have a lady here. क्या नाम है आपका?
मेरा नाम इबेमसा।
कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं आप?
अभी छिसीपुर सुसापुर।
चुराचांदपुर पे रहने वाले हैं। तो चुराचांदपुर में ही सबसे ज्यादा परेशानी हुई है, सबसे ज्यादा घटनाएं घटी हैं चुराचांदपुर में।
बहुत गड़बड़ है, बहुत हला किया है। मेरा घर सब लोग टूट गया, आग चला गया। हम हिंदी तो ज्यादा नहीं है।
आपका घर तोड़ा गया, आग लगा?
सब आग चला गया। उसके बाद बच्चा लोग, फैमिली, सब बस्ती का आदमी लोग बहुत सुसापुर में, वो अभी तक नहीं सो रहा है।
वहाँ पे ही है? तो
यहाँ पे नहीं है, अभी सुसापुर है।
अभी भी चुराचांदपुर में आपका फैमिली के लोग हैं?
सब है।
तो आप यहाँ कैसे आए?
हम तो पहला सिक्योरिटी ने इधर से, हम पहला बसा लोग ने, लड़का है सब लोग उधर, हम बसा ने माँ पहला आप जाओ बुलाए। हम तो नहीं जा सकता है, मेरा साथ बसा के साथ जाएगा बुलाए। लास्ट गाड़ी में हम जाएगा मेरा साथ बसा के साथ, सब लोग फैमिली के साथ जाएगा बुलाए। वो लोग ने नहीं मानता है, लड़की लोग तो पहला जाओ बुलाए, हम तो नहीं चाहता है।
अच्छा, तो आपको सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने रेस्क्यू करके लाया है यहाँ पे, मगर अभी भी वहाँ पे लोग फंसे हुए हैं?
हाँ,
आपके लोग, परिवार के लोग अभी भी वहाँ पे हैं? वहाँ पे अभी थोड़ा जो सिचुएशन है थोड़ा अच्छा हुआ है?
अच्छा तो हुआ है, बोला है सिक्योरिटी के साथ रहता है, कैंप में रहता है। वो तो थोड़ा सेफ तो बोला है, नहीं निकालता है।
So there you are, this lady, she was rescued from her village and brought in Bishnupur district. Her family, rest of the families are in Churachandpur in another relief camp. So families actually getting divided in this conflict that Manipur has seen in the past couple of days, and you can see the volunteers here serving them food. This is a very a crisis which is not only where the law and order situation has taken a hit, but it is an humanitarian crisis, and volunteers like them have stepped in to help the government, to help the security forces and the army to also provide food to these hundreds of people who have been displaced from their homes, and they have been actually divided from their families. In Bishnupur district with BM Sanju, this is Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
All right, moving on to other news now, and controversy after statement by Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. Senior BJP leader Vasundhara Raje reacted sharply to Gehlot's claims that she and two other BJP leaders had helped save his government in 2020 during the revolt by Sachin Pilot.
She called his claims an insult and a conspiracy, and she challenged Mr. Gehlot to file a first information report if he had evidence that his MLAs accepted bribe. And in a statement released late yesterday evening, Ms. Raje called out his allegations against Union Home Minister Amit Shah. And Mr. Gehlot, she said, has insulted her like no one else in Rajasthan.
जब शेखावत थे मुख्यमंत्री, उस वक्त जो है उनकी पार्टी के लोग सरकार गिरा रहे थे। मैं प्रदेश कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष था, मेरे पास लोग आए, मैंने उस वक्त कहा था अगर मैं चाहता तो उनके साथ शामिल होकर के सरकार गिर सकती थी भगत सिंह जी की। वो मैंने कहा तुम ये अनैतिक काम कर रहे हो। वही बात कैलाश मेघवाल ने और वसुंधरा सिंधिया ने कहा कि हमारे यहाँ कभी परंपरा नहीं रही है इस प्रकार चुनी सरकारों को गिराने की पैसे के बल पर। ये कहा उन्होंने, क्या गलत किया उन्होंने, क्या गलत कहा उन्होंने। और शोभा रानी ने उनकी बात सुनी, वसुंधरा जी की और कैलाश मेघवाल की। इनके अंतरात्मा ने कहा कि मुझे भी ऐसे लोगों को साथ नहीं देना चाहिए। क्या गलत किया शोभा रानी ने, इसलिए हमारी सरकार बची है।
All right, let's go across to Harsha now for more on that statement, which has created quite a big controversy there in Rajasthan. And interesting, Harsha, Mr. Gehlot, they're taking on Vasundhara Raje as well as Sachin Pilot with this statement.
Well, yes, it's very interesting that, you know, it's a very carefully crafted statement if you see. So firstly, it puts him on a moral high ground that he in the past, in his political past, refused to be part of any conspiracies to topple governments. Secondly, he also says that Vasundhara Raje also refused to be part of any political conspiracy to topple his government. Of course, that puts her on a moral pedestal, but it may not be politically expedient for her to be appearing to be siding with Mr. Ashok Gehlot. Thirdly, you know, it's aimed at further creating dissension in the BJP, because the BJP in Rajasthan is a house divided. Vasundhara Raje, one of the most popular leaders in the BJP, has been sort of set aside in one sense. She's not at the helm of affairs. You know, they're not going into this election under her leadership. And so, you know, the BJP itself with many divisions, many contenders for the post of the Chief Minister. And then, of course, in what they call in rugby a lateral move, you know, he's also hit out at his rival camp, which is the Sachin Pilot camp. Now, if you recall, just about 2 weeks ago, Sachin Pilot had sat on a dharna against corruption. The plank was corruption, and he had said that he wants Ashok Gehlot to act against corruption in the previous BJP government. Now, by alleging that, you know, that camp has taken money and has not returned the money, taken money to topple the government and has not returned that money. And then Gajendra Shekhawat and Vasundhara Raje saying, file an FIR if you have proof. So clearly you've created a narrative around corruption. If he is being attacked for corruption, then he's also attacking the rival camp for having taken money to topple a government, which is also a corrupt practice. So as you can see, all this is very well crafted. It's not the first time Ashok Gehlot has said it, and I don't think it's going to be the last time. He's going to build this narrative as he goes into the election. So on one hand, he's focusing on good governance, but issues which are being raised, this is his way to counter it. And the more he repeats something like this, the more it's going to become a topic of discussion. So in Karnataka, for example, we've seen certain idioms, certain, you know, conversational narratives that are coming up. So something like that is, I think, what Ashok Gehlot wants to create, because he is, of course, like we all know, a very seasoned politician. So all this very carefully thought out, his statements, and of course designed to create a controversy.
All right, Harsha, thanks so much for joining us. With that, of course, it's likely to fuel divisions within the BJP, as you pointed out, and create further infighting. Thanks so much, Harsha, for joining.
All right, with the time for us to slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll get you the latest from Battleground, Karnataka.
Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's get you all the election blitz from battleground Karnataka. The high voltage campaign for the May 10 Assembly elections comes to an end today, and all the three major political parties in the fray are busy making their last pitch to woo the voters.
In fact, the top guns of the major political parties were on the campaign blitz. It was quite the blockbuster weekend, wasn't it, Vedanta? You had the Prime Minister. He was there for 3 days in Karnataka. Yesterday had another roadshow. Saturday morning as well, he had a roadshow in Bengaluru. The Home Minister was there. Also the Gandhis. You had Sonia Gandhi making that surprise appearance on the campaign trail on Saturday, where she addressed one rally, and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra there as well. In fact, today Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has another road show. You have the Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde also on the campaign trail, and Union Minister V.K. Singh, also Congress President Malappuram Kharge.
That's right. So the Congress really leaving no stone unturned as far as Karnataka is concerned. Both parties, in fact, the JDS as well, given the fact that Karnataka sees a kind of a revolving door politics, the tradition of unseating the incumbent. But now we take a special look at the Mysuru region, which is of course very significant politically. While the BJP versus the Congress campaign has played out there, the two men leading the Congress campaign, the DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, both from the politically crucial heartland of the old Mysuru region, that agrarian region, are also battling it out there. So NDTV's Veera Raghav decodes the battle in the JDS bastion.
The story of the Congress party in Karnataka 2023 is really that of a national party trying hard to keep the narrative firmly local and regional. It's led by two strong regional leaders in this exercise. One is former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and the other is Congress State President DK Shivkumar. Both of them from the old Mysore region, and both of them open about their ambitions for the top job in the state.
They are both strong and aggressive personalities. Siddaramaiah rose from the ranks of the Janata movement, but owing to serious differences with former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, he broke away from Janata Dal Secular to join the Congress in 2006. He belongs to the Kuruba caste, the state's third largest caste bloc, and has projected himself as the face of the Ahinda vote, essentially a conglomeration of socially weaker sections engineered to counter the dominance of Karnataka's two most powerful voting blocs, the Lingayat sect and the OBC Vokkaliga caste. In contrast, DK Shivkumar is a wealthy leader who started and stayed with the Congress and belongs to the dominant OBC Vokkaliga caste. He's an undefeated MLA since 1989 and has often been the Congress's troubleshooter in Karnataka and even outside the state.
Mr. Shivkumar, how do you see him? Do you see him as a friend, a competitor, a colleague? How do you see him?
He is my good friend and also political competitor, so far as the chief ministership is concerned.
How would you define your relationship with Mr. Siddaramaiah? Is he a friend, rival, competitor, senior colleague?
See, I think you all are in a different notion. We work together, we are joined together, we will work together. We will see that the Congress party will come together. It is our bound duty to see that all congressmen walks on the streets and steps of Vidhan Sabha. It is our pride and our duty. We will deliver Karnataka to the Congress party.
The two regional satraps have had to unite in the battle against the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Prime Minister himself has led the BJP's campaign with extensive roadshows across the state, like this one in Bangalore, and a host of central leaders have descended on the state. Issues like the promised ban on the Bajrang Dal and personal attacks on the Prime Minister have threatened to dilute the focus on regional issues, especially in the last leg of the campaign for the Congress. as they contend with this challenge in the old Mysore region, where both Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar hail from. They have a different challenge to face.
As the Congress battles it out against the Bharatiya Janata Party in most parts of Karnataka, it needs to wrestle out seats from the Janata Dal secular in the heart of the old Mysore region. For instance, in a district like Mandya, the JDS won 7 of the 7 assembly seats in 2018, and the Congress needs to win back some of those if it wants to get the magic number on the 13th of May.
Former Prime Minister H.D. Devagowda and his son, former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy, have ensured that the JDS has a firm hold on the Vokkaliga caste, which is concentrated in over 40 assembly seats in this largely agrarian region on the banks of the Kaveri River. D.K. Shiv Kumar's mentor, S.M. Krishna, Congress Chief Minister between 1999 and 2004, was from Mandya, and the Congress hasn't had a grip over the caste vote since then.
What's your prediction as far as Mandya is concerned, sir? 7 of the 7 seats was taken by the JDS in 2018.
Now the Congress will have its stand. 7 of the 7, Congress will win.
Siddaramaiah's personal rivalry with Devagowda remains bitter to date. In 2018, he was defeated in his traditional Chamundeshwari constituency in Mysore district by the JDS's candidate. This rivalry has led to speculation that the Gowdas may side with Shivakumar if it came to that.
The Congress has got 2 leaders who's there. One is D.K. Shiv Kumar, who represents the same caste vote that the JDS has. The other is Siddaramaiah. Who do you think is the bigger enemy for the JDS? Is there one person you prefer over the other?
No, I would like to tell you, I don't want to comment on the Congress, D.K. Shiv Kumar or Siddaramaiah.
Irrespective of personal rivalries or caste affiliation, Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar need to contain the JDS in the old Mysore region.
Prediction is there, of course. There is a fight between Congress and JDS in some of the districts of the old Mysore. But the BJP, JDS will not get more than 25 seats this time.
While the Congress has accused the JDS of having a tacit understanding with the ruling party, the BJP, which has traditionally had only a marginal vote share in several of these constituencies, has also taken on the JDS this time.
The BJP says that voting for the JDS is like voting for the Congress. The Congress says JDS is BJP's B team. Who is your number one enemy?
Here both the parties, they treat us like enemy only. Whenever they require JDS assistance, then they will come to us. That is their character.
The BJP has had a series of national leaders, including Yogi Adityanath, campaign in Mandya. But its main focus here is the independent MP, Sumalata. Her husband Ambarish was a superstar and a strong Vokkaliga face who had held the Mandya assembly seat for the Congress. However, after his demise in 2018, Sumalata wanted to contest from the Mandya Lok Sabha seat in the 2019 polls. The Congress, which was in an alliance with the JDS then, denied her the ticket. She contested and won as an independent. And though she hasn't officially joined the BJP, she has sided with it since then.
Who do you think is going to lose more because of the BJP's gains here in Mandya, JDS or the Congress?
Well, since all the present MLAs belong to the JDS party, bar one in KRPet, it's the JDS who will be losing.
No, but in terms of vote shares?
Again JDS, because that's been the strongest party here from a long time. So, I mean, once upon a time there was a strong Congress presence, but over the years it dwindled into, a very minimal kind of a presence here. But now I think things are changing. People are looking for a change, and that's where it's the right time for the BJP to strike.
Could this result in a genuine three-way fight? That's the big X factor.
Whatever effort they are doing from BJP side, by sending several leaders from Delhi to divide the voters in Mandya or Mysore or anywhere where we are strong, it will not work out according to me. People are with us.
Agrarian issues and caste arithmetic dominate the electoral realities in this part of Karnataka. Given that the JDS is the Congress's primary rival here, the larger issues of corruption and anti-incumbency allegations against the BJP government is not the dominant theme in the campaign here. Here it boils down to candidate power and whether the Congress can break into that JDS caste vote stronghold. Madhu Gowda is a software engineer from the United States who has returned to take to farming in Mandya. He's contesting as a candidate of the Sarvodaya Karnataka Paksha, a farmers' party which has a tacit understanding with the Congress. He says often real agrarian issues get overshadowed by caste dynamics. This entire place is dependent on caste arithmetic. How important is caste in these elections here?
See, caste is a very important factor. Earlier even I thought caste is not doesn't play much role in politics, but now I have realized caste plays a major role in politics.
Ultimately, in a closely contested election, grassroots arithmetic and caste dynamics of the JDS bastion could well determine the numbers at the end of the polls and could also be decisive in the Shivakumar versus Siddaramaiah race for the top job if the Congress gets its numbers. With bureau inputs, video journalists Govind Murthy and D.N. Kumar in Bengaluru, Veera Raghav for NDTV.
Welcome back. Let's get you the latest on the wrestlers' protest that's been ongoing for over 10 days now in the national capital, and now farmers joining in that protest. About 5,000 farmers are going to attempt to reach Jantar Mantar today to join the protesting wrestlers. Many farmers reached them yesterday as well. The 31-member committee that is advising wrestlers has given a May 21st deadline for Brij Bhushan Singh's arrest. The Federation President and also BJP MP, farmer groups Bharatiya Kisan Union, KHAP 24 and Sanyo Kisan Morcha are backing the wrestlers' demand for action against Brij Bhushan Singh. There's tight security at Delhi's borders and the protest site as farmers are mobilizing in support of the wrestlers. Now, another news, the Indian Air Force was closely monitoring a Pakistan International Airlines Boeing 777 jetliner which crossed into Indian airspace. This was on the 4th of May after it had failed to land in Lahore airport because of heavy rainfall in the region. This is the track of PK248, a Boeing 777 on a flight from Daman to Lahore when it had to abort its landing into Lahore because of poor weather. Flight Radar 24 indicates that the jetliner flew north of the Indian town of Bhikwind in Punjab, and at around 8:42 p.m. on the 4th of May, shortly after entering Indian airspace, it then flew over Taran before turning southwest to eventually re-enter Pakistan airspace, where it then diverted to and landed in Multan. That's what sources have told NDTV. The incident of the PI aircraft flying into Indian airspace due to bad weather was coordinated between Lahore and Delhi Area Control, with information being shared with the Air Force Movement Liaison Unit. Now, news of the External Affairs Minister after the SCO meet that took place in Goa, and he said, if I have a good guest, I am a good host. That's what Jaishankar said, speaking about his interaction with Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meeting. He also dealt with Bhutto's India media engagement, raking several issues barring SCO, and said Pakistan conducts terrorism and asserts its right to do terrorism, pointing out how SARC has a member Pakistan that doesn't follow basic rules of international relations.
We invited the Pakistani foreign minister because there was an SCO foreign ministers meeting, and when it comes to multilateral meetings, you invite people to discuss that subject. Okay? So He was invited in his capacity as a representative of Pakistan to put across his views on matters pertaining to the SCO. See, if I have a guest who's a good guest, I'm a good host.